Hey guys, welcome to another Trade Genius podcast. Bob and Phil here as always. Huge move in crypto, Bitcoin just absolutely mooning, and Ethereum too. Why? We're going to talk about it in this video and what to expect going forward here. Let's dive in.
Trade Genius.
Hey everybody, it's Bob with Trade Genius. Usually I do fun ads. I talk about our service, but I want to be serious with you for a second. We've been helping a lot of people trading for a long time. As you can see here, I want to let them do the talking for me for a change. But most importantly, we want to help you too. If you've not joined our service yet, come check us out, tradelikeagenius.com. Full service. You know, we have a chat room. We have the algorithms for you. We give trades out every day. We educate you. So go to tradelikeagenius.com. Check us out. What you get out of our service is much more than what you put into it, and we'd like to see you in the room. Thanks for listening.
All right, Bob, we've been mulling around under the previous all-time high on Bitcoin, and it's kind of like, what's this market doing? The S&P 500 went to all-time highs, but it looks like we might be getting our launch codes here for crypto.
Yeah, and I'll throw the first chart up, and then I'll give a little background on it. This is a fairly long consolidation actually too, Phil. So, the old adage is the longer the consolidation, the higher the moonshot. So the first thing that we're looking at here is we had 70,400, I believe, right at the end of the regular trading day for stocks, which is pretty good. So an assault on the all-time high is inbound, and that takes us to 80K. I'll show you a different chart in a second. This is the 4-hour chart. And look, if you just look at our worm, and I don't know about you, Phil, but we tell people all the time are just asking, when will we know? Well, we have an algorithm that tells us when we should know. And so we're now assaulting on the 4-hour chart. We're assaulting the last resistance area before the moonshot. And the worm has told us to buy a couple days ago. We loaded up on Misty and Coney and BITO on the stock side. I know you've been doing some leverage longs in and out on this move too. And so all-time high, 80,000 measured move, and I'm going to throw a next chart up here, and I'm going to show you the weekly. Okay, the weekly is forming a cup and handle in itself. So we have a 4-hour cup and handle that takes us to 80, and then we have a weekly cup and handle, Phil, that basically looking at 70,000 to 15,000, right? And you got this move now where it's going to be $55,000 move on 65,000. Takes us over 100K, gets us to that 110 area, 115 area, and then who knows where the animal spirits take us. And look, we didn't think the moonshot on any of this stuff was going to start into June, but this isn't the only thing. Bitcoin's been flying, copper's been flying, silver's been flying, platinum's been flying. So something is amiss in the land of fiat, and Bitcoin was able to pick up on it. And I know you're going to talk about why in a second, and I'm going to throw it over to you. So we're stoked, Phil. We had an awesome day in the rooms today. I think people are excited, and I think that excitement will start feeding on itself, as you know.
Yeah, so the catalyst today was that the Ethereum ETF went from a 25% likelihood of being approved to maybe like 75% chance of being approved because the chatter at the SEC has done like a 180. Shortly after that kind of came out, we saw that the SEC came out and said, hey, we want you guys to adjust your filings for an accelerated review. We saw something similar before on the BTC ETFs before they were approved. So I think what we're going to get, Bob, the decision is on Thursday. This might be one of the easiest trades handed to us where it's basically long into the news, right? Now, what happens on Thursday, that could be anybody's guess. With Bitcoin, they sold the ETF approval pretty good and you had a decent pullback. So Ethereum could just rocket ship from here. Maybe it goes to 4,500. Then you could get a pullback on the approval. But I think at the end of the day, your lows are in now. And the reason why I think that is because if you look at the Bitcoin chart, when it makes an all-time high, and this happens every cycle, you'll initially break the previous bull market all-time high. So in this case, it was 69K, right? The prior cycle, it was 20K. And if you look back on the chart, we poked above 20K, right? And then back in 2020 or whatever it was, and then pulled back in, consolidated for a few weeks, and then we broke over it decisively and then took off. And that really kicked off that run to the last all-time high, which was 69K. So we've seen something similar. We broke over 74K, right? And then we consolidated under 69K for a long while. We've seen a dip as low as like 56 and change, but we climbed back out of that real quick. And now we're getting that move back over 69K. So now the way it usually goes is you're not going to get any more daily closes under 69K. Even if Bitcoin and Ethereum move up into Thursday, and let's just say Thursday, whatever the decision vision is a sell the news event. I believe, even though Ethereum might, like if they sell the approval, Ethereum might dip harder, but I think Bitcoin ultimately is not going to get back under 69K now, just because you've had, better part of 2 months, 2 months and a week or so of consolidation, which is a huge amount of time, especially when you're in a parabolic structure. So this has just been another base, right? A higher base. The last base was in the 40s. So now we've been basing in the 60s. So like you've said here, measured move to 80 and then on to 100. I don't really see any issue with that. From now on, I think what we're going to see going into August is actually shorter durations on consolidation. So maybe the next consolidation we get, it's only 3 weeks long. And then the next consolidation after that, it's only 2 weeks or maybe a week. It's going to start to compress and compress and compress until we finally get like a blow off move. That's typically how Bitcoin goes. And I expect Ethereum and other solid altcoin plays to follow suit. Now, all that being said, I'll leave you with, and I'll kick it back over to you, Bob. But the one fly in the ointment is the miner capitulation chart. And all this is just telling us that miners have turned off machines because it's getting too expensive to mine Bitcoin. Now, that can change if Bitcoin starts to make a run out of this consolidation area and does make that move to 80K. Well, guess what? They're going to plug back in. So we do have a capitulation signal here. And as you guys can see on this chart, that's usually not very bullish. But if you look over to the left where that red line is down there below, that's the last halving. And we did get a capitulation after the halving. And then it undid itself pretty quickly because price started to accelerate post halving. So hopefully that's what happens here. And we get basically an undoing of that capitulation. But you do have to be cognizant of that signal that's there. But like I said, if this is like other all-time high consolidations, we will not see a daily close under 69K from here, Bob. And I think your charts and the projections there are spot on. And then we'll see how high this cycle can go. Big picture, you get the 1.618 extension, the fib extension of the bear range. That measures us up to somewhere between 160 and 170K. Will we get that? We'll see. But I think somewhere north of 100K is pretty much programmed at this point.
Yeah, and if you throw that chart back up the weekly, look how tight that consolidation is on that handle on the right side. So this is a classic bottoming move it made here.
Yeah.
It broke out. It pulled back. I call this consolidation on high. The pullback's really light. And now we should start looking for fib extensions off of the high that we got in 74K. So once that breaks that, it's going to be a Katie bar the door. And, the thing is, too, you and I, we feel it. We see it because, we're in this business. Everybody and their brother now has like, whoa, is Bitcoin ready to move now? And I think a lot of people have been sitting on the sidelines waiting, and I think we're going to get a bit of a Fomo push here, Phil. And I know that once retail sees how easy money was made, I have friends say, I worked all day for $18 an hour, their kid, $18 an hour, and made more money in basically holding a Bitcoin derivative today. So I think people are starting to see like, well, wait a minute, there's money being made here. We got to get in. And I think you're going to forget about Roaring Kitty, and it's going to be Roaring Bitcoin coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So yeah, hang on to your hats. Guys, let us know your thoughts below. Leave us a comment. And as always, hit that like and subscribe button. That really helps out the channel. And if you guys are interested in following along with what we do and getting into the rooms with us, head over to tradegenius.co and check out our specials we have over there. Love to see you in the room. Thanks, Bob. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys on tomorrow's episode. Take care.
Trade Genius.